computer. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the engagement in your Facebook group workshop. I am so excited you are here. My name is Lindsay Weiss, and I am a Facebook group strategist. My story goes back 12 years ago. I was on Facebook and I had just left working in the corporate world. I had, experienced what that life was like. I didn't have kids yet. I was very newlywed. And I remember just thinking in that time frame, just like, is there something different? Is there something else where I can really work around my kids' schedule, where I can do things differently? And I started to see these Facebook posts, right? You know what I'm talking about? The posts we put up where she was sharing this vision and she was talking about how she was, working on her health goals and she was getting paid and it was payday and she was going shopping with the kids. And I was like, what is this? What is this? Like, what is happening? And so I sat for a while on it and I just watched. And I remember she sent me like one of those really long messages and, the links, all the things that like when you get those messages, you're like, oh, why are you sending this to me? Right. But deep down, you're, on the other side could be some really amazing products or programs, services, whatever it looks like. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, is this real? Is this real? And so month after month, week after week, she was posting the same story, the same vision. And I thought to myself, okay, nobody will give their time and energy to posting the same thing and the same story if it's not legit, if it's not real. So I finally was like, all right, what am I doing? How do I do this? Like, she had been following up with me privately over and over and over. And I finally, 8 months in, was like, all right, tell me what to do. Let me get involved. So I started my direct sales business and they told me to send all the messages, right? We got to get the word out, right? Like, people need to know what this is about and how do we get the word out? Like, you make a Facebook post, there was no Instagram back then. And so I emailed all the, people I knew. I put up a post, right? And like, how many people see a post, right? Because we have to get out there and network and connect. And I remember thinking to myself, like, there has got to be a better way than to just pop up in everybody's inbox and be like, hey, this is what I do. Like, want to join all the, the message that I had gotten, the message that we all get that we're like, could there be a better way? So I opened up a Facebook group and what I did is I made it into a community. I looked at it in a way where I could share tips, hacks, recipes, things that could serve them and show them value before I'm like, hey, you want to like actually buy a package or be a part of my team? Like, I found if we give first, on the back end, they're going to trust us, they're going to get to know us, and they're going to like us, and then they're going to join us. So I launched a Facebook group community, and that went on for, I mean, it's still to this day there. And I grew it organically. I didn't use ads. Ads are totally an option, though they work, but I did not use ads personally. And I created a really engaged community of members. They were posting, they were sharing, they were interacting. I was in there. And so what I want to do today is I want to walk you guys through engagement strategies that you can take this away today and go implement in your community. This is totally interactive, so feel free to ask any questions in the chat as I go through this, and when I'll take breaks, stop and check your questions. This worked so well that when people would come through this group and they'd spend time in the group, they love the group. I was able to talk to them about being a part of my team, talk to them about, getting a package, things like that. And when they would become a part of the team, they had a system to implement. They were able to take what I was doing and literally duplicate it, but do it in a way that felt good to them. That's something that is important to me. Is it's not that I want you to take every single thing I share here and implement it all, because it can overwhelm you. It could feel like, oh, that's not really my thing. but I want to give you different strategies. And then I want you to do what feels great to you. And then you have to implement and look at like what is working and what is not. We have to look at our group like from a business mindset, and you have to really look at like, okay, I have all these people in here, they're here for a reason, they want to be here with me, so how do I connect with them? Okay, so we're going to talk about that today. Take your notebooks out, write these notes down, because you'll be able to implement, and I will answer questions as we go. So number one, most importantly, is you need a clear purpose, vision, and brand for your group. Okay. I wrote, make sure your group has a clear vision and a specific purpose. The members are more likely to engage if they know what the group is about and if the content aligns with their interests. This could be related to a particular topic, profession, hobby, or goal, right? So what I want you guys to do, this is a workshop, so we're going to take 5 minutes. And I want you to really think about like, what is it that I'm offering? What is it that I want this group to really be about, this community? And I'll just, I say this a lot, but I'll say it again, like this is not a group where all we're doing is posting the product. That's not what we're doing here. The products are part of it. They are part of the post. They are part of the content, but not all of it is what I want to say. There are groups out there that are like info groups where it's like info, deal, sale. And so what I want you to think about is community. I want you to think about like what the vision is for this group. What do you want it to be like? How do you want it to stand out so differently from every other group, right? We know there's a lot of Facebook groups out there, right? And we know that you might be like, so interested in that one. What is it about yours that your ideal people would be interested in? Because what'll happen is they'll be more likely to engage with what you're going to share in there, and they will be more likely to join. We're not really talking about growth today, but when the title of your group really stands out to someone, so let's just use gut health, for example. If you are so passionate, I have a friend who is super passionate about gut health, and she had, her group was originally called like Healthy Vibes. And I remember we did like a little coaching. I do free coaching calls, if you didn't know. And I was talking to her and I was like, you do know, like nobody understands what healthy vibes means. Like that could mean a lot of things. So nobody understands what's going on inside this group. And so I was like, so what is it? What's your brand? Like, what's your vision and purpose? And she's like, I'm the gut health mom. That's who I am. That's my thing. So she changed the name, and I posted this in my stories, I think maybe in the group too. And she started getting members wanting to join because she called it like the gut healthy mama or something like that. And then she started to increase her engagement, which we're going through now. And people are talking back. People are engaged. In fact, she made a post this weekend just saying, this is my favorite place to be. I absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for participating and engaging. So we want to make it the place to be. Okay, now that I've told you all that, how do you decide what to base your group on if the main purpose is because you sell something? So Tanya, I want you to take 5 minutes while we do this, and I want you to really like think about like what else, why not what else, but why do you love the makeup? Like, is it a confidence thing? Is it I struggled to get ready, or I want you to think about your story. So I'll give you guys where mine came from. Maybe this will help you. I had heart surgery at a young age in my 20s. And it was a big shock to me. I had an electrical issue. It wasn't like a heart attack, things like that. It was an electrical thing that I had no idea I had. And I ended up in emergency room, ended up in heart surgery. And all I remember thinking to myself was, if I can make it out of this surgery, I will commit to my health for the rest of my life. And I made it through, obviously, here I am. And I remember thinking, fitness for life is so important to me. moving my body every single day, drinking water every single day, watching what I eat, right? Still not, I'm not like over the top, but like it became like so important to me, making sure my children understand. And so my first original group was Fitness for Life. And it was very clear that like this was where my passion lied. My health was so important because I had that surgery and I was like, whoa, I'm way too young. I don't want to deal with like it was, you know what I mean? So I want you to think your own story. I want you to think why you chose the makeup. I know if you guys are wondering, Tanya sells Saint makeup, and there's so much, Tanya, to this. It could be women in their 40s, and like it could be what attracted me into the cream. Like you could, do you see how you can like brainstorm this out? Maybe it's you're super passionate about helping women who are 30 and above, fill in the blank of what it is, right? Like we can get real specific. And that's where they're like, oh, wow, I want to be in her community. I want to hear what she has to say. Does that make sense? Oh, tell me if it does not. Okay. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. Start brainstorming. Ooh. Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, brainstorm away. I'd play music, but Zoom doesn't let me. So okay, how are we doing? Everybody doing good? I'm going to move on to the next. The next thing you want to do is harmonize your content. Make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. The next thing you want to do is harmonize your content with business and relationship building posts. So post a variety of content such as articles or videos, polls, questions, challenges, and relevant content that will create conversation. Okay. And doing this regularly can keep the group active and the members engaged. So I also have, I'm really passionate about harmonizing your content to cater to both relationship building with your members and your business tips and hacks. Okay. So what I mean by this is right now it's August as we're on this call. It is August. It is that back to school season. Okay. And we are in a place where some kids have been back to school for a couple weeks. Some kids are just starting back today. Some don't start back for another couple weeks. So this is a way, if your audience are moms, okay, if they're not, this is a bad example for you, but we'll keep up with some examples. But if your audience is moms, this is a great way to develop a relationship with them. So you have these people in your group, they're getting to know you, right? And by simply asking, like, when do your kids go back to school? Like, are you ready for that back to school routine? Are you ready to get back into a routine? Or are you loving the vacation life summer, right? Because we all know summer, everything just like kind of flips upside down. Routines kind of go out the door. Kids are out, they're in some camps, they're doing some things. There's all kinds of stuff happening, vacations, all the things. And then they get back into a routine and we get back into a routine. And I know, you know, some of us who we work full time, like we kind of have that routine year round, but this is where you start to get to know them. And you can ask this question of like, you know, you could even ask as far like, so the gut health mom I was telling you about, so she homeschools, right? So again, that's very specific, that can have conversation where she's like, is that your thing? Or are you into, you know, or do you send the kids to the classroom? Like, what does this look like for you? Because it's a great way, again, to get to know people. It's really interesting to me to watch people who homeschool and just kind of how they do it. And I don't personally do it, but again, this, I start to feel connected because I see like what they value. That's important to them to homeschool. They like, you know, getting the work done in a short period of time and then being able to go do activities with their kids or whatever it looks like for them, right? And they'll get into telling you all about this. Does this have anything to do with your business? No, but this is that deep relationship. It's really important when you're building a team, when you're building a customer base, they need to know you. Like, there are so many times that people, I'll post a picture of my twin. So I'm a twin mom. So you can imagine I've had a lot of great engagement and conversations just being a twin mom, right? Like, there's a lot to ask with that. Like, do they get along? Are they in the same class together? Are they playing the same sports together? What's it like? It's a topic that people like to talk about. And so when I post like they're going into the 5th grade this year, I will get customers who are like, oh, they were just babies, or they were just 2, or like, because they know me, because we've built that relationship over time, because I had this content out there, and we built conversations that went nowhere with business, but it built the trust. It built the know, like, trust factor. Okay. Then we have, and this is just motherhood. Like, we could, I mean, can you imagine like what else you could talk about? Think about like what you typically talk to a friend about. That's what I want you to really look at your community with, having conversations about. Like, even if it's summertime and it's like, where's the vacation this year? Are you a camping person? Are you like, oh, I could talk about camping, right? You're never going to find me in a tent. I have a reel that I'm going to post to, because she's like, camping in a hotel room. And I'm like, that's totally me. I'm that girl. And people connect. They're like, I'm not going in a camping tent. And then I have friends who are like, we're going tent camping. And I'm like, like, you go, like, you know, and it's still interesting to me. I love nature and all the things, but can you put me in a cabin, please? I need a bathroom. You see how like this has nothing to do with your business, but it really develops relationships. And it's like, you and me, we're so much alike, right? And, you know, motherhood plays a huge role. Like, we've got postpartum mom, we've got twin moms, we've got moms with kids that are going off to college. And that's a whole nother community of moms that are out there. In fact, I saw a post about it today where she was like, nobody prepares you for when you're an empty nester. And she was like, here's what I've done. Here's some tips. And she does not sell anything that links to that. She sells like health products. So we're going to take some time, brainstorm. So I typically do that on stories right now on Instagram, but my Facebook group is private and I can't share to stories. Yeah. Yeah. So Tanya, think about your group as like, so I talk about it on stories, just bring that conversation to your group. Because in your group, they may not be watching your stories. I don't know that all of you guys watch my stories. You might, but I don't know that you do. So if I'm bringing this conversation to the group, you guys are going to see that, right? Yesterday, now let's talk about business. Yesterday, I made a post in the group and I asked, like, what is it that you do? And I will give you 2 posts to help people see the value of joining your community, right? And what did that do? That increased engagement. I talked about, hey, I'm going to be on a Zoom and I'm going to be sharing engagement with you guys, engagement strategies. And you were like, awesome, I want to get on and I want to really learn like how to really increase this, right? Because what happens when you have a more engaged group? More opportunity to make sales, because once you've got the relationship built, you can then reach out. Like that's how this works. Once they are knowing you, liking you, trusting you, that's when the message makes sense. Like Tanya, I think I did this with you, because you know me, like me, and I was like, hey, are you into, like, remember when I was talking about this affiliate skincare that I found? And I was like, I don't know if you're into it because I know you're into makeup, but I found this stuff. It seems pretty cool. Like does that make sense how that works very nicely because you knew me already? I didn't just come out of the blue like, hey, you're on my Facebook list. Check this out. Does that make sense? I felt good telling you like, hey, I found this stuff. Like I have no idea if you use, where you're at. Like I was a girl who never washed my face at night. But I did that, right? In case it was something you might be really interested in. And whether you were or not, it was okay. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's take a couple of minutes. I want you guys to really think about like, it's going to be late. If you're in, I don't know if Labor Day is all over the country, all over the world, but like we have Labor Day, we have Halloween coming up. We're really in that back to school right now where you guys could really talk about that. Especially if you have moms and just like how they're holding up, how their routine, getting back in their routine. You could be sharing articles of like helping them de-stress stress is like such a huge thing, and stress works with health, stress works with confidence, stress works with if you have the oils, if you've got the mental wellness out there, like just like, have you taken time to breathe today? Just knowing like, hey, I see you, I hear you, like this is a hard time, it's a busy time, getting the sports back, everything. Oh my gosh, talking about the sports and like how much they cost could help you guys even with recruiting. Because Lord, I have a kid in hockey, a kid in basketball and football, and it was like the prices, like what? So brainstorm. And I love Chat GPT. In fact, I asked Chat GPT their thoughts on Facebook group engagement. I was curious what Chat GPT, what kind of guide it would give me. So you can always ask Chat GPT for ideas and post ideas. I have a content prompt guide that's like $29 where I give you 40 prompts. 30 are personal and relationship building. The other 10 are business. So if you want that, I can totally send that your way. It's like $29. And then it helps so like Chat GPT and these content prompts really just help you to get creative with like, I could be talking about a hair care product. I could be talking about, I got this outfit and you'll never guess where I got this outfit. Amazon, right? Like nothing to do with business, but also we're going to integrate that business where you can ask questions. Tanya, this is where you could do tutorials. I was telling one of the other girls in St. if I were you guys, I would create a photo album of all the different eye looks. Like when you take a photo, start to put an album up and be like, these are the colors I used. And then they can refer to the album and they know, like, because I'm always like, how'd you guys make that pink eye? How'd you make that one eye? Like, how'd you do that? What colors are those? And then you've got them all listed and you can put the link and people can just go in and buy. So. Those are some ideas for you guys. Okay, did I miss any questions? Let me see here. No, not yet. Okay. If you guys have any questions, as always, put them in the chat. I'm here. Keep brainstorming. And I know I get this question often, like how much business should I post and how much relationship? If you are working on like you have a specific goal, you can definitely step up the business postings. You can post as much as you want or as little as you want. It does, there's no right or wrong to this. This is, you want to look at this in a way of an experiment as well, where it's like, what does work? What does engage these guys? Like what kind of questions? Because business questions will engage them. I wrote this in a post today. I'm like, did I put this in the slides? Where if nutrition is your thing, you could be simply putting up a poll saying like, where do you struggle when it comes to eating? Do you like, and you could write, you know, I don't know what to eat. I don't have the time to make food. My cravings are through the roof, right? If you are one of those and you have those type of products, but you can take that with the makeup, right? Tanya, you could take that whole idea and you'd be like, where do you struggle? Like I spend too much money at Ulta. I'm at Sephora all the time and I have no idea. I'm buying 5 different palettes and I'm buying all these different cream or not cream. What is it? Liquid makeup. I've got a concealer and and you're like, let me simplify this for you. Right. So like first you start with a poll and just like figure out where they're shopping. I'm still like mind blown by just all the benefits of the, you know, whatever that was, where it was like the cream makeup works so much better for the skin. You could get into the skin conversation, Tanya, like there's just so many things you could do. Yes. So Tanya, what I call what your group is, to me, it's a VIP group because they've already purchased, which is great. We want to keep honoring them because retention is huge, you guys. Having a community, people will keep purchasing from you. I have people who purchase year after year, or I'll come back after 2 years and they'll purchase again because of these groups. So Tanya, what I want to encourage you to think about is how could you create a community where they are not customers yet, so you could grow the business bigger? Okay, so start to think about that. And I know we're going to be meeting later, so we can chat more about that if you'd like. Okay. Now this is something that I've already started to get into: member participation, encouragement, asking open-ended questions, polls, opinion-based prompts to spark conversations, encouraging the members to share their experiences, and recognizing those who are contributing so they feel seen, heard, and are encouraged to keep engaging, right? So there is a way to see, like in your group insights, who's been engaging. I do this when I run challenges, when I run free events, sometimes where I'm like, Tanya, you're engaging. Thank you so much for commenting and engaging back with me. It really is, part of this is telling them to like, hey, comment below and tell me, because for some reason, sometimes people are like, do I comment or do I not? And people feel good about commenting in groups versus like on a public page. So I want you to, I mean, you can see how deep this goes. Like I get into depth with this in the Facebook group method course, and helping you, just because there's just so much you could talk about. When you start to really think about it, you're like, man, I could talk forever in here. I have so much to talk about, especially when you base it around things that you're passionate about and love. You know, like a new mom, and say she's with she sells protein shakes or something like that. like she's got that postpartum conversation and then the health piece of it, like, and you bring it together. I am 41. So for me, if I'm going to talk about health, tell me about why I need more protein, right? Talk to me about what I should be eating. Should I be getting more sleep? The taking care of the stress, keeping the stress low, like that really mixes in. And then just talking about motherhood in general at this age, right? Like those are very simple things to make a community of people that are your ideal person. If you work full time and do this, you can talk about that too. Okay. I know I could just go on and on about all the ways to engage. So what I want you to do is create a poll this morning and ask them. It can be about your business or it can be about personal, like when do the kids go back to school? Or it could be, what are you ready for a routine or are you still on vacation for summer, right? Like something simple. It could be like that. Or if you have something totally different that I'm not thinking off the top of my head, create that poll in your community. You know, sometimes like articles will pop up that are like, you're like, oh, this is good. And you share that, right? And it can spark conversation. Sometimes a reel comes up and I saw, oh gosh, I think Gary Vaynerchuk, if you guys know the name, he popped up and was like, Facebook Reels are where it's at right now. Facebook Reels. Get on Facebook Reels. And I remember taking that and sharing it to the group and being like, make sure you're loading Reels to your Facebook because that'll get you new eyes, people that you can add to your group. Okay, Magda asks, how do you get people in your group, especially if they've not purchased? So Magda, what I'm speaking about is a free community before they've purchased. So when they purchase, I call that a VIP community because those are your customers. They've already purchased for this. And yes, your customers are typically in your free community too. They're like your hype squad. They're like, this stuff is so great. The minute you get on and you're like talking about a product or you're doing a tutorial or you're doing something, maybe you're like, I mean, you see the Stanley, the Stanley is like so big, right? In the world, like every woman, we all love the Stanley. We want the Stanley. We love the colors. This could be a conversation in your group that has nothing to do with anything, but it helps you get to know them. Conversations are what lead to conversions, to sales, because eventually you start talking about what you do, or they start seeing your other posts, right? And you are able to directly be like, hey, have you ever thought about trying this stuff, right? Because I still believe in asking. We need to like have a little bit of a relationship before we're fully asking. So to say what I'm referring to, Magda, is I brought free people, or not free people, I created a free community and it was free for people to be a part of. And then I utilized the method, which is in the course that I have. I use that method to grow the group, to create content in the group, engagement, right? So then it turned to sales. So these people would join this community because of what I was sharing. So they understood like, oh, wow, if I join this group, I'm going to learn about fill in the blank, intermittent fasting, gut health, beauty tips for women over 40, right? Tanya, if that's I'm sure Tanya's over there brainstorming, but like, if she wanted to talk about like beauty tips for women over 40, for women over 30, whatever that looks like people understand, okay, this is for me. This group's for me. I know that I'm going to get beauty tips in here and she's going to share all kinds, and Tanya can you can expand, right? You can actually tell people like, hey, you need to wash your face at night, by the way. Some of us did not listen to that and need to know why, right? And I remember I was in a group in a community and she said, use silk pillowcases. And I was like, silk pillowcases. And she was explaining the benefits. And I was like, what? That's crazy. What did I do? I went and ordered silk pillowcases. It had nothing to do with her business, Her business was press on nails, the red aspen. But she came out with this article and was like, you should get silk everything. And I was like, well, I didn't know that. And now I do. And it was a value to where we built that connection. So yes, self-care. Yes, I love it. So Magda, I hope that answered your question, but the goal is to bring in people who have not purchased yet, because the goal is to help you get more customers and to build your team. If that is what you want to do, or if it's just customers, clients, whatever that looks like for you. So yeah, 2 different groups. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Okay. All right, here we go. The private conversation with no agenda. This was such an important piece as I built my team. And I want you to know, I usually had one new customer at every week or so on average. And so that would be, every month was so different, right? Because like it's really hard to answer this and be very specific, because with online sales, they're all over the place and you never know when someone's ready to order, which is why keeping them in a community in a way is like a funnel, because it's when they're ready to order, I'm right there, right? And I don't mean glued to my phone right there. I mean, we've got this community. And one of the cool things about it is you can look through the members. You can click on members and you can scroll through and you can look and be like, who have I not connected with in here? Right. And you can drop them a message and get to know them. You can reach out and you can be like, hey, happy Monday. I'm so happy you're in my group. I would love to know like something, right? You can ask a question along the lines of like, something that you might see on their page. You go look at their page and they're like, they just got back from Florida on a trip. And you're like, what? Like I watched, somebody just got back from a town in Florida and they're raving about the food. And I'm like, can you tell me more about this? I might be interested in vacationing there. And I drop them a message and they're in my group and I'm like, hey, I saw you went to Florida. Like, how was that? All the things. And again, nothing to do with your business, but again, it's building that trust. And now they're paying attention because you're like, I'm so happy you're in the group. Like, it is the most basic conversation, you guys, where you get to know these people to the point of they're like, oh my gosh, your children, they're getting so big, right? I'll post it. I'm like, who? Oh, that's one of my customers, right? Because I built such a large customer base over the years. Because here's the thing, this is something we want to do consistently. This is not a set it up for 30 days and let it run automated. That's not how this works. This is something that once it's set up, once it's implemented, you've got this space where you now have all these potential clients, potential meaning they're not your customer yet. New people every day are joining where you're like, hey, this group I talk about, I'm going live in the group this afternoon and I'm going to be sharing boom, 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 whatever you're going to be talking about. Come join me. Come join my community. I'm doing a giveaway in the community this week. Come join my community. And 5 new people join the community. I have a student who's in the Facebook group method course right now. She is intermittent fasting is her thing. That is her niche. That is her specifics. That is where she's at. So I did a call with her. She's one of my course students. And we did a call last week and we mapped out an intermittent fasting, like introduction to intermittent fasting, right? And she reached out the other day. She's got new people joining her group. They're very excited about learning more about intermittent fasting. And she'll be able to talk about the products she offers, right? So that's a whole nother story. But private conversations with no agenda, it allows you to get to know these people. So when you guys join the society, you might see a message from me like, hey, thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited you're here. Like, what is the goal you want to achieve in your business, right? Like, I'm curious to know, are you building a team? Are you building a customer base? Are you new to the business? Have you been doing this for years? Like, I'd love to get to know you more just to see like where you're at. How are things, right? What's the best way to contact people if they don't respond in Messenger? You can tell they have not read it yet. I would be engaging. No, the third thing I wrote here is engage with their page. No agenda for business. So I would go and interact with their page. Look at what they're posting, look at what they're sharing, and I would just love on their page, show them some love. Like, so this we're going to talk about here in like 2 more slides. I'll get into a little bit of energy, but like showing the love to them first. What happens when somebody loves all over your page? What do? You're like, who is this? And you go look, right? And you can always be like, I dropped you a message, check your DMs, dropped you a message. Sometimes they just, because yeah, I get that too. You're not alone, where I'm like, did they see the message? Because you know what happens if we're not connected? Sometimes it goes to like the other folder. And so it's like, you need to check your other folder. And your other folder is not easy to check because I have to like go in and yeah. So adding them as a friend, you can do that too. Feel free to do that. Okay, so today I want you to look up a couple members of the group to connect with. Just a couple. Give it a shot, see how it goes. If you're just getting your group off the ground, obviously we're not here with this yet. This can be something you put on the list down the road, but I like to try and reach out to a couple of people that join the group every day or that have been in the group. And I like to ask any type of question. Sometimes I'm like, what more would you love to hear from me on? Like, where can I serve you more? Where can I help you more? And when it comes to I go back to makeup. It's always, give me more eyeshadow looks. I would create a new group, Tanya. Like, this is very exciting for you because a fresh new group, like, yes, love it. You're good. No worries. Okay. On to the next. So tell me, how do you feel about live video? Because I know this is a scary one for some where you're like, oh, I gotta go live. I want you to go live at least one time a week in your community. This can be a planned live or an unplanned live. I want you to schedule this out and I want you to challenge yourself to do it. I want to know how you feel about it. I have a VIP group and then a public page, try to grow. No, 70 followers. Yes. So I would definitely have a group for your page. I have a page with 29,000 followers and it's really challenging for me to build a relationship with those guys. I mean, obviously 29,000 is a lot, but it's really challenging for me to build a relationship with them because they're just following a page. So it's, how do I build, I can post my content and they'll interact and then I'll start to respond back and start a relationship that way. But if they come into my group, I now have a stronger opportunity to build a relationship with them beyond business, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. I want you guys to go live. I want you to schedule a live and an unplanned live. What that looks like is, so this is planned, right? You knew this was coming. You knew that you knew exactly what we were going to talk about today. Tips I was going to bring you. You knew that you were going to be able to ask me questions. You knew this was coming. This is very planned. This is very scheduled. Do you need slides? No, you don't need slides. This is a workshop. It's a little bit different, but you can go live, plan it out, and you can be like, all right, I'm doing a tutorial. I'm going to walk you through meditation. I'm going to walk you through how to calm stress down. I'm going to walk you through a makeup. Tanya could be like, we're doing a pink look today on Tuesday. Join me at 10 a.m. I'm going to be live in here. I'm going to go through a pink look. This is very similar. Some people do this on Instagram for sure. This is totally a thing. The cool part about going live in your group is you can then pin it to the top and it never goes away. So if you guys go to the society, you'll see there's like, I think like 8 or so live trainings that you can learn more from me. How did she grow her group? I have a live training that says how to go from 0 to 500. How I grew my group organically from 0 to 500 members. What did I do? Like, and I talk you through, like, I talked about this group everywhere. I posted it to Facebook. I posted it in my stories. Well, we didn't have stories back then, but I do that now. I talked about the group and the community, and every person that I had conversation with, new followers, new friends, I'd be like, you should come to join this community. It's awesome, right? I felt confident, like boldly talking about the community because I wasn't cold message selling anything. I was like, hey, this place is awesome. Come hang out. This is where the party's at. And I made it fun for them, right? So that when I went on a little bit of a, I went a little bit off track on that, but those are great ways to get people in. When you're doing a live, you can say like, I'm going to be live on this day and I'm going to be talking about this, this, and this. And it can totally be leading them to join your business, to join your product. And this, I go into all of this in the Facebook group method course, like in depth. Now unplanned, right? Let's say, you go for a walk in the neighborhood, or you're just, I don't know, you exercise and you get off and you're all sweaty and you've got the endorphins flowing and you're like, oh, that trainer just said yada, yada, yada. Right. And now I want to come on and I want to tell my people, I want to give them a Monday to start strong. And I want to share, like, I watched another business coach this morning and she was giving you like this pep talk and it was so fun. And she was not dressed. It was not planned, but she gave you this like quick 1 minute pep talk. It wasn't even anything long. She popped up, gave you the pep talk and went on with her day. So it's stuff like that, that I call unplanned, where you're like, I'm really wanting to come and talk to you guys about this. So Becca says, I try to go live in my group here and there. It's usually unplanned, just whenever I can make it work. Yes. And Becca, you can plan some things too, but unplanned works too. Like we really do want to generate that engagement, and they come, you guys have to remember, they join the group for you. They're coming in there for you. It's really important that you remember that because they're looking to hear from you. Here's a testimonial of a girl that I worked with, one of my students, Cami. She has an oils business and she has a coaching business. And what she did was she let her oil group, I think she had like 200 people in there. And she reached out to me and was like, my group is crickets. Nobody's talking. There's no engagement. So I gave her engagement tips through this guide that I have. And she wrote here, I'm taking your advice, and did a live yesterday in my community that I haven't shown up for in forever. And I posted in there today. Already I'm seeing little ripple effects in your confidence, helping me trust that this will make a difference. Cami has since gone through the Facebook Method course, and she now has people buying from her community. She has old customers who happen to be in the community that are now ordering again. And then Cami runs a coaching business, which is, it kind of works with the oils. Some people love to run like coaching businesses and then they'll bring the oils into it. And so Cami and I worked privately together. She worked with me and we walked through this idea of launching a community for her coaching business, which is what you guys see with the Social Selling Society, right? And she launched it, and within 24 hours, she had 20 people in there. And what's funny to her is she's like, I've talked about my coaching on my Instagram stories all the time. And because she was very specific about what she's going to do in this group, she was like, I'm going to do free coaching Fridays. She'll do like 20 minutes of free coaching with these members so they can experience her coaching, right? Like sometimes we want to send out a sample so people can kind of get a feel for what they're going to be ordering. She had 20 people join in 24 hours, and 3 of them were like, oh my God, I didn't know you did that. I'm so interested. And she was like, what? I've been talking about this in my stories. And I don't know what it was about that, but that's something that was a game changer for her. And starting to go live in her group was a game changer for her and her business. So highly encourage you guys to do that. I want to also remind you, at the end of the day, the energetics of your community is on you. Remember, building engagement takes time, it takes patience, it takes consistent effort. Everything we do, we got to put in the consistency. Like when I talk about what I've done with utilizing this Facebook group method that I created, this was consistency over time. I had maybe like 20 people when I first opened the group. And then organically, maybe 2, 5 to 10 would join a week, but I was putting in an effort. I was out there networking and connecting with people, right? We can go to other groups and get connected to new people. We can do this on Instagram. And then I would invite them back to my community, right? And so that required me to get out there to grow it. And you could do this with Facebook ads if you want. If you got the money for ads and you want to invest and just have it, you'll grow your group with ads with people. It works both ways. But engagement comes down to your energy first, and you looking at your group like, these people are here for me. They want to hear from me on both a personal and business level, right? They joined your group because of the brand, you named it, because of what you're going to talk about in it, like the gut health and intermittent fasting. You're not interested in both. Maybe you are. So you're like, I'm going to join both groups. But what one is more important to you that you really want to learn? Perhaps it's gut health, because we know, what do we know about gut health, right? It's like the root to so many things, right? So maybe we want to go in there and kind of figure out, maybe we've got a hormone thing, and like she's talking about hormones in this group, so I want to get in there and learn. Or maybe it's beauty over 40, and like, what is so different about me being 20 and putting on makeup and now me being 40? What's the difference? What happened to my skin? Why do I want this? Or the concept of self-care, self-love. Do you see how this works, where people are like, oh, I really want to be in there. But then once they're in there, you got to bring the energy. You got to bring it to them. If you want them to become customers, if you want them to become teammates, it requires you to show up first, and they're going to match your energy. And some are going to leave the group. Some are going to be like, oh, she's not a fit for me. And that's okay. That's what we want. The ones who really think they can learn from you and they want to be, connected to you, they're going to, that's why you'll probably hear this everywhere. Like, be authentically you, always be you, because the right people are out there for you. I always say, who is for you will not pass by you. But we need to make sure like we're showing up so they can find us, right? Okay. Now, I want to tell you about my program while you're here. If you're not interested, that's okay. You don't have to hang out any longer. But I go into depth in all of this in the Facebook Group Method program. If you are looking for a proven system that helps you grow a branded community of engaged, ideal potential clients and create consistent sales, this is going to work for you. This is for you. The Facebook Group Method is all new. I'm calling it the facelift. I've added 2 new modules. It was 6 modules when I first launched it, and I've had quite a few students go through it, and they've started to see their progress. This is very new. This method is not new. This method has been around for 12 years. I created this method when I told you the story in the beginning. I launched that group and I started to create this method of like, okay, I need to grow it. I need to do stuff inside of it. I need to create content in it. What else can I do to move them forward into becoming a customer of mine? That's not full on salesy, because if I just talk about the product, they're going to run away, right? We know that because we get the message and we're like, why are you doing this? First, get to know me. And then they get to know me. And I have a company, like I bought, I have the makeup on right now from Saint, right? Because I had built relationships and they didn't just get in my face about it. So I teach you in this 8-week program that now has 8 modules. So what you get is a self-paced course, and I broke them down digestibly. So they're about 10 minutes long. Each module has 4 to 8 lessons. So they're about 10 to 15 minutes max, because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. After 30 minutes, you're like, whoo, that was a lot. But I help you in each lesson, literally how to launch your group, how to brand your group. Should it be public or private? Like, we go through all of this, then we go through how to grow your group, and there's different strategies that you get to take and run with. Then we go through what to put in the group, like what kind of content. And you've got a general idea here because we just went through engagement, right? You get 8 live group coaching sessions with me where you will come with me on live and you get to ask me all the questions for business in general. I've been in the social selling space for 12 years. I'm one of the leaders in the company I've been a part of. And so beyond the group, there's more to the business, of course. So you can come with anything. You can talk about the group. We can talk about different things, recruiting, building a team. I teach you that in the method as well. How to do the VIP group for people who already are customers. Like I go into that. I am going into, what is the other? Oh, custom challenges. Like, what does that look like? Or an event like this. Like, how can I put something like this together that brings me like 20 new people to my group, right? So how this works is the pre-sale today starts. It's $597 total, so less than $100 a week to be a part of this. We're going to kick it off in the second week of September. You will get the course right now if you decide to sign up. Right away, you get the course, but the group coaching calls will start in September. So you'll have time to do the course and then come back to me with what questions you have. Okay. And there is a VIP option if you're like, I want to work with you one-on-one privately, which many people have been signing up for, which is really cool, where you have 5 private calls with me one-on-one right here on the Zoom. And then you get a Voxer to access to me Monday through Friday. So it's a little bit of a higher cost because you're getting me personally. The price will increase next week to $697. So right now is a great deal to come in. I do have a payment plan option if that helps you. Here's a testimonial. The Facebook method course is everything you need to successfully launch and run a Facebook group. Lindsay covers everything in the modules, and I love that they're at your own pace in case you need to take longer to go through one. The coaching calls are super helpful to help work through any questions you have after completing this course. I'm excited to wake my group up and make it a community again. And one more, the Facebook group course with Lindsay has been so beneficial. My own group with social selling that I do has been so quiet, and I've been so inconsistent with it for years. Now it has a regularly scheduled posts, and the energy has completely shifted. I get comments and interaction and increase my sales from it. Lindsay also encouraged me to use groups for the coaching that I do. And this is Cami, can you tell? I only have just launched that, but I have 20 members within a few hours and have people that are interested and curious about what I do that have never even talked to me about it before. This has been such a blessing for all parts of my business, becoming more clear and focused on what I do and how to help people. It makes the outreach easy and fun rather than a marketing exhaustive nightmare that I felt I was living. 100% try out this course if you have any kind of business, or even if you are trying to share a message or even a political campaign. I see this benefiting so many people in the way they connect with their audience. Okay, so we are kicking this thing off September 12th. We're going to have our first live coaching call. If you sign up today, the course will be in your email right away. You'll get to start it today. You can get your group launched up, or you can get your group tweaked, whatever you're at, get things growing, get things moving forward. And then you and I will get together for group coaching starting September 12th, which is in about 3 more weeks, I think. And then if you would like to work with me privately and add that on, many of these ladies have done that just because they really enjoy working with me as a coach. So you are more than welcome to reach out to me about that. Do you guys have any questions for me? We are right at 11 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is I am going to drop this link here in the comments. You guys can check this out. Okay, Tanya will chat on the call. I'm going to drop this link, and then I will get you guys the code so you can save. Hang on 1 second here. Pre-sale 200 is the code. So let me give you guys the code so you can get your deal. Okay, code. So there's the code. You can enter and you can get signed up right away, and you'll be a part of group coaching with us. I have a group that I talk about CBD, plants, knitting, and share some baking stuff. Should I narrow that down more? I mean, I love all of it. I think coming up with a creative name that will attract those people in, Becca, is going to be the key to that. But I mean, I don't think you need to stop any of it. I think it's all great. I think it all works together. I'm assuming CBD is your product you sell. But again, it's a community. If you want, Becca, for one, obviously you can join the course and we can really go through this with group coaching. The other thing you can do if you want is you could set up a 20-minute call with me and I could help you kind of map this out. By the way, I do free 20-minute coaching calls that I'm running. I'm going to have to jump on here in a minute. Let me pull that link up for you. And you can sign up if you'd like. And there we go. So you can sign up, Becca, and we could really chat through it. Or if you want to get in the course with me, we could really like work this whole thing out. So you've got the good system rolling and you're good to go with your community. Because you guys, like at the end of the day, like hands down, if I hadn't launched a group and a community, I don't know where my business would be. Like, true story. I think about this all the time because I like Instagram. I have a lot of fun over there, but it's a struggle personally. I struggle with that app. Like I really enjoy it, but I love being able to bring people into a community space. It's very simple to teach a team to do the same thing and to really just give my energy there and really connect with people who want to be there. Followers on Instagram is great to connect with too, but sometimes it's like they lose you, they lose your page. They're like, how did I follow you? Or things like that can happen. And it's kind of like, they both serve their purpose because you can bring followers into your group, but I do struggle to connect. And I have just found the community works so well. I've literally built like a crazy awesome business to this day 12 years ago because of that. And I really want to help you do the same thing. So if this looks like something that you want to dive deeper on with me, you can always ask me questions. You can always just purchase the course and we'll get you all set up and I'll be in group coaching with you. But that's where my heart's at, is really helping you guys to really generate more customers, more service, grow your team. Thank you guys so much for being here. You know where to find me if you have any questions. I'll send out an email with this recording if you want to check things out again. I want to know how the engagement goes in your group when you guys are implementing some of these tips today. You have to let me know how that goes. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I will send this recording out and I hope you have an amazing rest of your Monday.